Testing the lure charge voltage tuner today on Mikey's lab. Hey, and welcome back to the lab. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below to ensure that you stay up to date on all the content coming from the lab. Today I got my buddy Spenny with me, and Spenny, we have a problem.
Hey guys, how's it going?
You are in camo.
How is camo a problem?
You're in my lab.
Yeah, we can redneck up the lab a little bit, right?
Lab coat up. We're going to learn something today. For the record, the only way I could get him to do this was to say my lab, my rules.
Welcome to the Redneck Lab. I'm your new host, Spencer.
Alright, so today we're doing a follow-up video from a video that we produced on our sister channel, Fishing for the Rest of Us, where this guy dragged me out onto a bunch of frozen water in very cold weather to test this thing.
You make it sound like a bad thing. It was an awesome day, buddy.
It was. We had a great hunt. Thank you, Hotbox Huts. So we have this thing. It is a voltage tuner from Lure Charge, and they say that it puts a current into the water that interacts with the lateral line of the fish. Now, Spenny, what's a lateral line?
You're pretending you don't know this.
Yeah,
I know
I
you
totally
know this.
am, yeah.
But a lateral line is literally a line that runs parallel down the fish's body that allows them to pick up on vibrations and electric currents in the water, basically.
And this is how most fish will find prey. Right? Not just predatory like pike and stuff like that, but schooling fish as well.
Well, a lot of people say predatory fish and think of pike and muskie and stuff like that. But actually, by definition, perch are a predatory fish as well.
They just don't necessarily go after wounded. They go after entire schools.
Yeah, they'll go after a wounded minnow if there's one around, but most of the time perch are schooling fish, so there's going to be a lot of perch. It's very rare that you find like one or two by themselves. There's usually about 50 of them, so they're not going to be looking for one wounded fish. They're going to be looking for a whole school of fish that they can surround and attack and feed as a group.
Perfect. So this thing in its construction, if we take a look under the actual bench cam, sorry for the shakiness there, let's see if I can get this to focus well. You have a standard, just looks like almost just steel with a dissimilar metal welded on. So what that tells me is that we have cathode and we have anode. Okay? This may sound very familiar to people who know anything about batteries, because this is the primary function of a battery. However, one thing that's different, and I was surprised to find, cathode and anode in this are touching. Usually they only make contact through an electrolyte. Now, to make this experiment authentic, because I just mentioned electrolytes, this water is legitimately from Lake Simcoe, where we did the fishing.
The actual water from the holes that we were fishing right under us, so it's about as close to replicating that environment as we can get.
We brought a liter back. I've already spilled half a liter all over my bench. That was fun. All right, and this is what remains, and we put some into the bowl here. Now, as a baseline, you'll see that I have these alligator clips attached to my Fluke multimeter leads. The reason these are here is because I love my Fluke multimeter and I'm not dipping it in water. It's true.
Not a risk taker, are we, Mike?
Not with my Fluke, man. So we'll put both leads into the water itself and see what we get. We're getting 0.08, 0.07, 0.06 volts DC. All right, and just so that Spencer knows I'm not lying, this is probably because of the electrolytes in the water conducting some ions or electrons from one lead to the other. But it is a minuscule voltage that we don't really care about. So the next test that I wanted to do is I just wanted to drop this into the water and see if it generates an electrical current on its own without contact with any of the test leads.
All right.
This is not one of the experiments that Lure Charge did on their own video. All right, so we'll just put this in and we see virtually the same reading, 0.02, so maybe a little bit of a negative impact. Let's turn it around. Now we see 0.06, so maybe there is.
So it is affecting it a little bit even without any contact.
A little bit of a microcurrent going on. All right. So we're going to pull Lure Charge out. And we're going to hook Lure Charge up with these very, very slippery leads now. that I cannot squeeze.
Not used to handling your electronic equipment in the water, Mike?
Not at all.
We got to do some new experiments here.
I concur. Okay, so we have my ground hooked into the cathode of the lure charge, which we put into the water, and we put the anode in. And we immediately see 2 volts.
Wow.
1.9 volts, 2 volts, 2.2. Correction, we immediately see 0.2 volts. Alright, and 0.28. And yeah, 0.28, 0.29. It seems to be going up the longer it stays in the electrolyte. Alright. So the other one that we're going to do, if my fingers will sing, is with the voltage tuner connected to both the cathode and the anode, or the cathode and the anode of the voltage tuner connected to both leads from my multimeter, we get a flat 0 rating. So that tells me that this does nothing without the electrolyte, which is not a shocker if you understand how batteries work.
Right.
So the other one that I wanted to do was to hook up to the anode, drop that into the water, and see if we get the negative current going the other way. And we do. Negative 0.29. Alright. So we definitely see a current coming off of this.
That is cool.
Which definitely leads some credibility to this. Now this has been in the water all day fishing. Like a battery, I'm assuming that it might drop some voltage. I wanted consistency across for my tests. However, I'm going to grab a brand new one. And let's see if we get a higher reading. Alright. So brand new one right here. I'm going to open it on camera. So that there is no, maybe. So that there is no questions. Right, that I am using the authentic product that Lure Charge has sent to Spenny's channel. They had no idea what they were getting into when they said we could test it.
I had no idea I was going to get so many perch on it. I loved it.
Alright, so brand new. Again, dissimilar metal welded onto the similar metal there. We're going to connect my positive line. Now this is a slightly unfair test. As you can tell, looking at the two of them, there is a noticeable size difference between the anodes of both of these. Just wanted to make that clear. Alright, so in the brand new one goes, in the other lead goes, and no! I am seeing less of a charge from this one. I am seeing 0.19.
The other one was 0.2 to point.
Yeah, oh, there it goes. Proximity to the lure charge does matter. And it falls off very rapidly. Alright. No, the longer it's in there, the better it gets. Okay. So 0.22. So apparently hours of fishing made no difference. Right, so as far as batteries go, I'm sure the current that's actually coming off these things is microscopic. Right, but at the same time, I'm sure the sensitivity of the lateral line, which is designed to detect motion from another fish, is not high. Right?
No, we'll have to do a little more research on what levels they can actually pick up on, but obviously it was doing something. We're getting a reading off of it here, which proves it is giving off the voltage. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you check the video out on my channel. We'll leave a link in the description.
And it's coming up right here.
Mike and I go head to head. We each have the voltage tuner for half the day, and we were quite blown away with the results. So definitely check it out. It was a cool episode.
So from a Mikey's Lab standpoint, here's what we know. When we took it out in the water, as he says, voltage tuner seemed to catch about twice as much fish as the one without the voltage tuner, which was surprising for me. The voltage tuner produces a current in the water, which was a surprise for me. The current coming off of the voltage tuner is a static current, or a static charge. It's not fluctuating the way that I would assume a bait fish would. But I don't know, is there something that could mimic?
For sure, if it was more of a varied current, it would mimic at least a wounded bait fish or something that was giving off altered vibrations and currents in the water. But as we said before, perch are a schooling fish. They do look for a large source of food. So maybe the static current seems like a larger school or something that's giving it off constantly. Who knows? We'll do a little more research into that, though, because we're definitely onto something here.
So it produces current in the water. When we went head-to-head on the ice, it made a definitive difference. I don't think we have a big enough sample size to scientifically say that it works, but I certainly can't say that it doesn't. So at this point, if you haven't already checked out our sister channel, Fishing for the Rest of Us, and you're into fishing, check out his channel.
Check it out, guys. We really appreciate it.
I want to thank you for joining us in the lab. I hope you learned something, and we will speak again soon.